I just want to do a short video of inverse proportion to give you an idea of what it's about. Before we do that though, I want to remind you of an idea in number which is called the family of 4, and it's to do with multiplication sums. If we take any multiplication sum and write it down, it is one of a member of 4 sums. The second sum can be written as, this is the second member of the family. Now I'm going to add the next 2. The first is 12 divided by 3 equals 4. The second is 12 divided by 4 equals 3. These 4 sums are known as the family of 4. And any multiplication sum will have 3 other multiplications and divisions that go with it, vice versa for division. And this is going to be useful today. Just to recap direct proportion, this is where you have 2 variables that are linked in the following way. Imagine you buy beans. 1 bean costs 10p. If we buy a second bean, that will cost 20p. A third bean costs 30p, and a fourth bean costs 40p. The number of beans and their price are in direct proportion, and we can show this on a graph. If only one builder was available, how many days would it take him to build a wall? Well, if 2 builders take 16 days, one builder would take twice as long, and that would be 32 days. Looking at the pairs of numbers here, we can see a pattern. 1 times 32 is equal to 32. 2 times 16 is equal to 32. 4 times 8 is equal to 32. And if we had 8 builders, it would take them 4 days. That's also equal to 32. You can see from these 4 sums that when you multiply the variables, the number of builders, by the number of days, you get the number 32. This is a constant, and this shows an inverse proportion. All inverse proportions will have this constant result when the two variables are multiplied together. It's very useful if you want to work out the number of days, say 16 builders would take, because you'd use your family of 4. You know that 32 divided by your number of builders should give you the number of days. And this sums up how inverse proportion works. Another example is the time it takes a car to travel distances at various speeds. The faster the car goes, the less time the car takes to do the journey. Let's say we look at journey times for speeds such as 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60 kilometers per hour. At 20 kilometers an hour, it takes 6 hours. 30 kilometers an hour, 4 hours. At 40 kilometers an hour, it takes 3 hours, 50, 2.4 hours, and then 60, 2 hours. And what you find is, again, when you multiply these variables together, 20 times 6 equals 120. In the same way, 30 times 4 is 100, 40 times 3 is 100, 50 times 2.4 is 120, and 60 times 2 is 120. So if we wanted to make a general rule, if the speed is x and the time is y, then x times y is always going to be equal to 120. So if you wanted to know either of the other two variables, you could use your rule of 4, and you know that 120 divided by x will equal y, and 120 divided by y will equal x. So if I want to know what speed I have to journey at to get there in 5 hours, I can simply do 120 divided by 5, and that gives me the answer 24 kilometers per hour. I hope this explains what inverse proportion is, or makes it a little bit clearer.